Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Hope your holiday weekend is going well. I'm having a good one, hitting some beach time for sure, and I'm not doing that poolside. I heard from a friend of the show, Scott Beckett, who was worried that I wasn't getting enough beach time in, and I explained to him it was 65 degrees and raining until about June 20th here in the Northeast, but great weekend. Hope you're enjoying it. Like I said yesterday, it's light, so we'll take it a little easy this weekend. But today, I will compare it to just get in the middle lane, drive 65, hit the cruise control, and just steer and listen to the radio. That's what we got going today. And we'll wrap back up tomorrow with more of a regular show. The 2025 Lost Culturistas Culture Awards categories and nominees have been revealed. Why not? This thing is a lot of fun. It gets bigger and bigger every year. This year, the 4th annual Lost Culturistas Culture Awards are coming to Bravo TV. Tuesday, August 5th, 9 to 11 Eastern Time. It'll be on Peacock the next day as well. The awards celebrate culture's most iconic and consequential moments of the year with more than 100 unique award categories, live musical performances, and unexpected celebrity guests. This show brings culture's most crucial moments to life. Some of the categories: most iconic building or structure. Okay, you ready? The nominees are Universal Helios Grand Hotel, the Gobi Tent at Coachella, the Coney Island Cyclone, Lumen Headquarters from Severance, and the Mirror House from Abracadabra in the Lady Gaga SNL performance. That's wonderful. Let's see, most iconic? I'd have to say the Coney Island Cyclone. Best vibe. The nominees are Japan, the Spirit Tunnel on the Jennifer Hudson Show, Top Chef Canada, Seth Meyers, and musician Doechii. Never been to Japan. Not a big fan of Seth Meyers. I'm not familiar with Doechii's music. I've never seen Top Chef Canada. And I'm not really into the Jennifer Hudson Show. I'm going to pick Japan. Nominees for Best Breakfast include Egg McMuffin, yogurt and berries, a banana, crab cake Benedict, or just a black coffee. I'm actually intermittent fasting. I'm going to pick that. Best Lunch, the nominees are half soup, tomato, half salad Caesar, fries and Caesar, half soup, tomato, half grilled cheese American, Pret a Manger, the UK version, or a free Best Lunch. I'm going to pick fries and Caesar. Best Dinner, chicken parmesan, Korean food, Tadig. Quote, I actually heard the burger is really good here, $46, or you get home and your new lover cook for you again. So far, they're amazing. I'm going to pick chicken parm. Best Beverage, the nominees are Dr. Pepper, whole milk, martini that you order by saying filthy with way too much sauce, Big Airport Essentia, or Celsius, hands down Dr. Pepper. Best Gift for Dad. The nominees are golf, a rather nice pen, an Apple Watch, an evergreen ticket to the Sphere Las Vegas, or a book about war that he already owns. I will say get me an evergreen ticket to the Sphere, only because I already have an Apple Watch. And we'll do one more. You get a vibe for what this is about. This is the Woman of a Certain Age Award. The nominees are Jenna Ortega at 22, Dame Helen Mirren at 79, Queen Elizabeth I, Betty Boop, or Winona Ryder. And they tagged on Winona Ryder, The Age of Innocence. I'm not sure what that means. I'm going to play it safe here. I'm just going to go. Helen Mirren looks really good in Mobland at age 79, so I'm picking Helen Mirren. Let's move on. Like I said, middle lane, cruise control, 65. That's what we're doing today, guys. From Boston.com, they caught up with Josh Gondleman. The discussion came up to the modern Seinfeld. Remember that social media account? Josh explained, my friend Dan always said, and it's true, if they had cell phones, you'd lose half the episodes, I thought. But think of all the episodes you'd gain, because it's not just we can't just find each other in this movie theater. It's the etiquette of using the technology. I tweeted a couple from my own account. My friend Jacqueline was like, this could be something. We started at Seinfeld Today. We were both plugged in on comedy Twitter and media Twitter. It blew up overnight. We stopped doing it in 2015 when we got too busy, but it was a great calling card. It opened a bunch of doors. His favorite plot line, one was something like Jerry had to break up with his girlfriend because her phone automatically connected to Newman's Wi-Fi. One of the earliest ones was like Elaine's neighbor makes his Wi-Fi password an insult about her after they break up, so the whole building will see it. That is pretty good. Josh said it was one of the first things I got into where I thought, oh, this is what the grown-up world is like. Obviously, it's not really, but in some ways it kind of is. I grew up with this warped sense of how much scheming and machination is required to be an adult just because of how much George Costanza informed my lens on the world. I got to get Josh on the show. He was in GQ as a Duncan clothing influencer. You're a noted hardcore Duncan fan. Got to talk here. Josh said, okay, I have several pairs of Duncan adjacent sneakers. I have to have him on now because I also have an item tomorrow where he's talking about Adam Sandler movies. So right there, I could just do 2 topics and let him go. The ones you're talking about where they're collab with Saucony for the Boston Marathon, I don't wear them much because I could never replace them. Dude, I've got a pair of Jones Beach Edition Nikes. Same reason. I barely ever wear them, and I paid like $200 for them, but I just had to have them, and they just sit there. Every now and then I bust them out. Josh says, I also have a pair of New Balances that have Duncan colors, not an authorized collaboration, just coffee brown with the pink and orange on the end. And I have a pair of Air Max 90s in Duncan colors. They went on sale, and I was like, I'm going to get a second pair for when I run through the first. Josh, do people ever give you a hard time about leaving Boston for New York? Josh said, only once. I was opening for John Oliver at the Wilbur in 2014. I said to the crowd, it's very meaningful for me to be here with you. This will always feel like home. I got a nice round of applause. And then I said, oh, I did move to New York City 3 years ago because I wanted to be happy and successful. I got booed and booed. And I said, no, you're not allowed to boo. You could also leave if you wanted those things. Good Will Hunting isn't science fiction. I got booed and booed. I did my next bit, got a little applause and said, no, you already decided you were against me. I don't want your applause. Eddie Pepitone has a new special. It is called The Collapse. It is executive produced by Patton Oswalt. It'll be out on Veeps July 17th and as a comedy album August 15th. Patton Oswalt says Eddie Pepitone is the Pixies of modern comedy. Working class but aching for utopia, quiet and then loud and then quiet again, willing to take the twistiest route to the most uncomfortable, hilarious truth. His audiences don't just laugh, they erupt in cackling disbelief that Eddie's saying the things he's saying. Chilean comedian Fabrizio Capano will have his first English language comedy special, From the Future. That went through the 800-pound gorilla on July 14th. In From the Future, Capano talks about identity, fatherhood, and cultural whiplash, capturing humor in the ride through the immigrant experience, millennial parenting, and the absurdity of living between 2 cultures. Capano became a U.S. citizen soon after completing the special and said, maybe I should make sure I can actually stay in the country. Some other stories while we're on cruise control here. Aaron Berg will take over as co-host on the SDR Show podcast. He replaces Big J. Okerson. Matt Friend got a nice wax job from People magazine. Seems like the PR department at rewards platform Billt worked something out for some good mentions in People. Matt was out there hawking for Billt Neighborhood Comedy and said, comedy shows are always the same thing. 2-drink minimum. There's kind of mediocre food. You see the same kind of lineup. We wanted to create sort of a party-like atmosphere, and it's exclusively for Billt members. The next events are July 16th in Brooklyn, July 23rd in Chicago. They did one in December at a Brooklyn pizza spot. Matt Friend said Anne Hathaway and her husband were there, which was very cool. I don't think anyone really called her out. I think she was very incognito. That was cool. People tells us the gigs have attracted folks like Marcelo Hernandez, who probably showed up and did that one thing he does really well, Mark Normand, and Roy Wood Jr. Now Friend says every comedian is hitting me up trying to get in on one of our shows. Matt Friend's title is Billt's Director of Neighborhood Experience, and he's trying to highlight up-and-coming talent. He said, I'm up-and-coming. I just turned 27, so I'm young, but I'm also now in a position with Billt to be able to help discover new people and bring them into this network. It's very, very cool. Apparently, John Stamos and Hank Azaria are friends. He's, quote-unquote, particularly close with, unquote, them. And they're kind of a big mentor, father figure, entertainment people in my life. Let's do this one since Americans probably aren't listening today. For the Edinburgh Fringe, The Guardian looked at 20 shows to see this summer. Let us pick at some of the names we might know here as Yanks who aren't listening. You're contradicting yourself, John. Jacqueline Novak is there. The Guardian writes, it's hard to think of a stand-up so indelibly associated with one hit show as Novak, but what a show. You know that one. It was Get on Your Knees. The Guardian writer described as Get on Your Knees, blew global, and then Netflix audiences away. I see what you did there, Guardian. Now we discover what else has the New Yorker got in her locker. Monkey Barrel is Jackie's new show, July 30th to August 23rd. Michelle Wolf is over there. The Guardian writes, not many people have landed a glove on Trump and crew since the Donald became president. Wolf did. Whether this week-long Fringe delivers a political comedy or something homelier about New Parenthood remains to be seen. She'll be at the Pleasant Courtyard from August 11th through the 17th. Rhys Darby, The Legend Returns. His stage performances, silly symphonies of antic mime and sound. His new show revives that shtick after 13 years. To address the specter of AI. He's also at the Pleasance Courtyard, August 1st to the 10th. Rosie O'Donnell at the Gilded Balloon for 10 days in August. She will debut her recent relocation to Ireland. and a bunch of other shows. You can find that on theguardian.com. And that is your comedy news for today. All right, we'll ramp things back up tomorrow as everybody gets back to work, unfortunately. Sorry to crush your groove there. Enjoy the rest of the holiday weekend. I'll see you tomorrow.